Okay, I'm assuming people can see this. So um, we have 10 essentials for backpacking and for hiking, I should add too. And it's not the 13 essentials, it's not the 8 essentials, it's the 10 essentials because it covers everything that you have a reasonable chance of needing on a trip in the mountains. So the first essential then is some way of navigating. And in the past, that has been map and compass and the skills to use it. And there's a whole class on that. Um, now we have GPS available, and GPS is wonderful. It tells you where you are on a map. Um, and that is fantastic. And I highly recommend that you load an app on your smartphone like Gaia, Gaia GPS on your smartphone. And then you can load maps for where you're going onto your smartphone. And then even if your phone is in airplane mode, you can see where you are on that map. Now, just in case your phone doesn't work, you should always bring a hard copy map with you um, because you just never know. And this is particularly important for a winter trip when you're not really on a trail, but you can get lost in the summer too. I hiked with a guy named Cartographer. The cartographer is a map maker, right? And he managed to get on the wrong trail, and he went 10 miles the wrong way because he lost his map, and then he had to backtrack 10 miles. So it's good to know where you are, and it's good to have a map to orient you. Sun protection, and that's for your whole body, really, particularly on snow. But bright day, a cloudless day, you've got to have your body protected, particularly if you have fair skin. So that's a hat, and long sleeve shirt, and sunglasses, and sunscreen for that matter, to cover parts. I sometimes I'll wear a bandana over my head too to protect parts. That the sunscreen works for a while, but if you're out there a lot, you need more than just sunscreen. Illumination. So if you happen to have a problem where you're delayed and end up having to walk at night, then some sort of illumination headlamp is best. Then you have your hands are still free, and the technology now is great. They're very light units now and don't draw much power. So insulation to protect you from the cold. And so that should be beyond what you would wear when you're hiking, of course. When you're in camp, you've got to have extra clothing to keep you warm around camp, and then of course when you're sleeping. And then rain gear is another protection from the elements, which you pretty much got to have in the Northwest on any trip, just in case. And then nutrition for backpacking, of course, and we have a whole class on nutrition and food. But even on a day hike, you should be carrying food just in case. I went on a day hike, an IMAC trip, it was about 5 years ago, and my wife broke her ankle, and we called for help. Help didn't arrive until 9 o'clock in the evening, and we didn't get started down until 11. She didn't get back until to the trailhead until 3. So it was good to have some food along with us, some extra food beyond what we had expected. And then of course, hydration is absolutely essential. A good rule of thumb is about a liter for every 5 miles of hiking. Now you should know where you're going to know where the water supplies are, so you don't have to carry more water than you need, because water is heavy. And you should have the capacity to carry the water. If you're going someplace where it doesn't have any water at all, then you're going to need more than just a liter capacity. And then, of course, first aid kit, and you can pick those up at REI. There's all sorts of different sizes. Um, Lighter ones are fine. The heavier ones have things you're less likely to need. So I would go with a light, fairly light one. You can get an REI. Repair kits, things go wrong, you know, stitching comes out, need a knife to fix something or to make a hiking pole or something. It's always good to have a knife and a utility tool. And then fire starter, if you don't have a stove, and some people do backpack stoveless, then you should have at least have matches, some way of starting a fire. But generally backpacking, most people do bring a stove and matches. Don't count on the lighter on the stove to work. I ran into a couple, they both had jet boil stoves, just in case the flint in one of them failed, and they were on the John Muir Trail, and it just happened that the flint on both of their stoves failed, and they didn't have any matches. So bring some matches with you. And then emergency shelter, of course, if you're backpacking, you're going to be taking a tent with you. But if you're not backpacking, then you should have some other shelter in case you do have to spend the night, because you never know. So those are the 10 essentials. Carry them on any trip you're going out, you know, beyond Badger Mountain, where help is not close at hand. You should be carrying all these, because you never know. All right. I don't know if I can look at chat here. Where's, let's see.
Steve, do you have any recommended items for those? Like, for example, I know smart water bottles are really popular for hydration.
Smart, yeah. Boy. Yeah, there are a lot of, well, okay, I just use a Gatorade bottle, frankly, for my primary water bottle because it's durable. But I also use, as a second water bottle, I use the Katadyn Be Free, which has a built-in filter. It's quite light, and it holds a liter, and that works really well. But there's a whole class on water, I think, isn't there? So, okay, I see. I'm still sharing. Okay. So, and you're seeing my thing. Okay. So, and now I'm not sure how to see chat in this mode. Can't see chat, but if Casey, if you see any questions, then tell me what they are, and then I can answer them. Pretty basic stuff.
Oh, yeah, not a whole lot of questions in the group chat yet. Just more people chiming in for
the breakouts.
We have a question about Nalgene water bottles being too heavy, or are they too heavy?
They're quite durable. They're maybe heavier than you need. Yeah, that there are lighter water bottles out there. It just depends on how much you want to spend. You know, if you don't want to spend anything, just get a Gatorade bottle. That'll work just fine. But the Be Free, Katadyn Be Free, I think it's like $50, and it has a built-in filter. And I used that on the PCT. It lasted me for 1,500 miles. And then I decided the filter was getting a little bit clogged, and so I replaced it for $25. So, but there are lots of ways to treat your water, and there's a whole other class on that. But I would just start with the Gatorade bottle. That's cheap, and you know, you're getting a drink out of it too.
Yeah, I'd use 1 liter smart water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Laura. How about for first aid supplies? Like, what do you typically bring in your first aid kit?
So I got a first aid kit from REI that weighs, I think, like 3 ounces or something, and I supplemented it. I don't think it had moleskin. I put some moleskin in there and some ibuprofen and um, I think I put in some antibiotic too in case I got giardia. But those basic kit. The main thing. Oh, another thing is important to supplement with is an ACE bandage. One of the most common first aid issues on the trail is a sprained ankle, and an ACE bandage can be very helpful in that situation. So I would definitely recommend bringing an ACE bandage in addition to the little first aid kit that the little 3-ounce thing that you can get at REI.
Yeah. Let's see. Looks like Morgan's got a question about iodine tablets. What do you think about iodine tablets?
Oh, some people use them. They're a super lightweight of treating your water. You have to be a little patient because it takes, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour to treat the water. So it's it's a cheap way of treating your water. Um, it's and you really you want to start with that, but wait till you hear there is going to be a longer session on water that'll give you a lot more information. That'll be the basis for making a decision on what you're going to do about water.
Next question. Do you carry anything for self-defense, such as bear spray?
I never owned any bear spray until I learned that a place I was taking my daughters and granddaughter backpacking for 2 nights, that I learned that a week before that someone had fed a bear. And I thought, oh man, that bear could be spoiled. So I brought a canister of bear spray, and of course I never saw the bear. The bears generally don't want anything to do with you unless your food is laying next to your tent in the middle of the night. I had that happen to me once. I didn't bother to hang my food, and I was told there was a bear around, and I didn't really take it seriously. And sure enough, the bear came in the middle of the night, and I woke up with this bear rummaging through my food. That really was scary to me. But all he wanted was my food, and he ran off with my bag of rolls. If you see them during the day, yeah, they'll run away from you. So I really would not be concerned about bears. And I think self-defense is the mountains are quite safe. I'm not concerned at all about safety from animals. I'm more concerned about twisting an ankle or something.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I had a fun experience with a bear when I was on the Wonderland Trail. Trying to see if I can find the picture now, but came over the top of this ridge, and there was a meadow. The trail was going through a meadow, so I came out of the tree line, hit the meadow, and there's a bear on the other side of it. So I stopped and I looked at him, and then I said, and he started like moseying away from me, kind of slowly, and I said, "Hey, bear," and then he stopped and looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Oops," and we had like a stare down for about for about 10 seconds before he started grunting at me and moving away again.
Yeah.
And and I was like, whoops, maybe I should have just left him alone.
But yeah, and of course you don't want to get between a mama bear and her cub. So it's good to, if you hear a rustling sound like it might be a bear, then definitely look and make sure you know what it is and what's around, and make sure you're not between a bear and her cub.
Are there any other questions in the group chat?
All right, I'll stop
Yeah, well,
sharing.